how's everyone doing today? Today is the next day after I pulled for Klee and Kazuha,
Time to go.
which I'm super happy I got both of them. It's just been a very long time waiting to finally have Kazuha, and now I do. So what better way to celebrate this than doing the new story quest for Kazuha that they just added into the game with this update. I very much would like to find out what is going on in Inazuma and what exactly has Kazuha been summoned to do. Let's see. A strange and friendless road. Upon the plain, a purple shadow. You and Paimon travel near Byakko Plain on your journey. That we are. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of stories of we saw the story of Kazuha at the Crux Clash.
Time to go.
And then he came back and fought in the Resistance, and then blocked the Raiden Shogun's Musono Hitotachi, and then the Iridori Festival. So what brings him? What has he found along his journeys, and what have we found along our journey today? That is what I'm excited to know.
It's been a while since we first set foot on Inazuma.
It has. I've been thinking about it. It's been a whole year.
Things have happened since then.
It's been a whole year of wonderful memories and exploring and events and stories and all the adventures that we've had. There have been many memorable events.
Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like I like how Ether's nodding. I agree. I hear footsteps. Wait a moment.
Huh? What's up?
What is that? That is a cursed blade. That has like purple swirls around it. Be careful.
Hey, what the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Yeah, let's convince this person to calm down. What are you doing attacking us? We're literally just
Falling leaves.
walking here and not bothering you. Where did you go? Okay, I thought you left the autumn whirlwind and I was going to be upset.
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all?
No, we
Seems
don't.
like I've mistaken you for someone else.
Oh.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No, wait. Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
The sword is
Have
kind
you
of
ever met
like...
someone by the name of Kaedehara Kazuha?
Oh, yes we have.
He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision.
Yeah, he does. I was gonna say, the sword kind of looks like the Festering Desire in terms of the purpleness. Why are you looking for him?
That's none of your business.
Okay.
Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, you probably are. What do you... Huh?
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, that seems like it'll be bad.
Paimon has a feeling, though, that even if this guy gets to challenge Kazuha to a duel, he won't be able to beat him. Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go fight Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
Actually, I have a hunch.
Oh? What kind of hunch?
I think this guy might have a special connection to Kazuha.
A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other?
Oh. I can't say for sure, but I feel like their fighting styles are kind of similar. Huh, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah, maybe a little. But then again, most people look pretty much the same once they start fighting, so that doesn't
Really?
prove anything.
I don't think so, Paimon. I think,
Anyway, there's
especially in
nothing to
Inazuma,
lose.
fighting styles
Let's go tell
is
Kazuha so we won't get into any
important.
danger.
Also, where's Kazuha?
Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Oh, great. A strange and friendless road. I thought this guy was still around at that Paimon just outed where Kazuha was. Alright. Let's go meet Kazuha! All the happy memories I had in Rito. Coming to Inazuma in the first place, helping Toma with all those things. The Iridori Festival. All the pretty maple leaves. I don't see the Crux fleet anywhere, but... Hi.
Hey! Hello? Do you know where Kazuha is?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all.
Two?
Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha.
Why?
If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention.
Well, it's definitely because...
Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain.
It has to do with how he blocked the
off.
Musono Hitotachi. Probably.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. It's something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi.
Yeah.
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
You could compare it to the technique Beidou used to strike down Haishan. Yes, that's a perfect example.
Really? Wow.
The big
When you put it
shots
like that,
kind of
It
thing.
all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Uh-huh.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable.
The Shogunate probably wants to show some goodwill. After all, that's true. The Raiden Shogun's mindset has changed.
Thank you! Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryou Commission.
All right, then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
The crowd should go disperse. He's not here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? I remember I was at first, like, back when they released Kazuha, I was like, why didn't they give him a story quest? But then after literally like a whole year worth of Kazuha lore later, I can see why they waited until now so they can actually build up even more backstory for him before they do a story quest involving him. So, yeah, this is great. Okay, there's Kameji and Kazuha. Hello, my friends.
It's you.
Hi.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation.
Sure.
We invited Mr. Kaedehara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array
I
of
like how
directives aimed at
involved
resolving,
Kamaji has actually
or at
been
least
getting in a lot
easing
of
the
these story
tensions that have
quests.
built
They're
up
trying
over
to
the years. The
do
Tri Commission has
reparation
made
to
the
the Tenryou
recommendation
Commission.
to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedehara name.
Oh.
Regarding the history of the Kaedehara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed?
Yeah, I've heard a thing or two. Or a lot.
In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun.
The
The
Raiden
Kaedehara clan
Gokuden.
belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both
To
the Kaedehara
Snezhnaya?
and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a
Interesting.
period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui, attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato
Well,
and
not
Kaedehara
just the
clans was
Fatui,
neither
but
proper
someone
nor
specifically.
just. Considering Mr.
involved with that.
Kaedehara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the almighty Shogun and the shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth.
Good question.
We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedehara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedeharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end.
Interesting.
You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yet
say
my
about
ancestors
Kazuha.
did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedehara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
What sort of malicious rumors?
Rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedehara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedehara really parried the Shogun's strike.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedehara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
I can see why that mistake would be made.
But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
Yeah, well, people will believe
That is
anything.
correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
Yeah.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
There was this guy,
We nearly forgot about the most important
and
thing.
maybe he also has heard the rumors.
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me?
Do you have any siblings? Could it be someone you trained with under the same master?
No. This puzzles me as much as it does you.
Huh.
My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality.
I see.
Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedehara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat
Yeah, that
forms.
makes sense.
Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back. This guy was a serious
A
nutcase.
serious nutcase indeed.
He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious
What if
injury.
he mistook us
Or
for
worse.
Kazuha because we can
In
also
that
wield
case,
more than
I
one
will send some men
element?
out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer. I will first join the traveler in investigating the one who attacked him, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
We will. Thanks, Kamaji.
Come on, let's go and track down your aggressor.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Let's see what Ryuji has to say. That's true. Sango and Ryuji are still also the big shot detectives in town. But I have a sense we will be encountering someone else soon enough. So someone is looking for Kazuha and uses very specific techniques that only Kazuha and his family should know. And furthermore, what Aether and Paimon did not seem to mention is the glowy purple sword, which is very suspicious and magical, but mostly suspicious. What does that mean?
A quick question.
Just a quick question.
Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him?
Besides the paparazzi.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaedehara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Yeah, but it does sound like stalking.
Millions? Mora? Whoa! Oh, wait, even at that price, you probably still
Right, which is
shouldn't.
exactly why Sango
Please,
didn't.
accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
I'm glad Sango knew it was the right thing to do.
No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it. Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara.
It sounds like
But
he's
I
pretty
wouldn't know
famous
where
right
to
now.
begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads, and I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
Well, we were attacked, so
Oh, that does make sense.
I guess we're the only person who got attacked.
Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere.
Yeah, that is
Few
weird.
people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now.
Is this your way of giving praise, Kazuha? Is this an upgrade to you fought well?
I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me. For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless
Yeah, that would
crime.
be pretty horrible. Just
Don't
a mistaken
worry, we'll
identity
find him.
case that would have ended pretty badly.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
Something like that.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I
Thanks,
can.
Ryuji.
Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few
Oh.
days. It doesn't involve
Oh,
an
do tell
attack,
us.
though.
That could be...
Let me tell you about it
yeah,
just in case.
just in case. That seemed to be
Sure.
very...
During times like this, the more information
Unrelated
we have, the
incidents seem
better.
to get connected
All
very
right,
often in
then.
this game.
Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Oh, wait a minute.
Amanoma. Now
That's the
there's a familiar
only
name.
art from the Raiden Gokuden that
Right.
survived.
Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma
Mm-hmm.
Smithy. Two grown men going missing at the same time. Their cases are likely connected, but I don't know much in the way of details. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are
Maybe.
looking for.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why
Cat,
he may wish to attack
let's
me.
consider this a favor for Ryuji.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find
Plus,
out
it's always
along
good
the
to have
way.
favors with Sango
Thank
and
you,
Ryuji.
We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
That's actually really important information because Kazuha mentioned that his sword art was based off of a sword art used for testing blades. So is it possible that the Amenoma art had a similar blade work? Because
If it
they're
isn't
also testing
Kaedehara
blades?
Kazuha, what brings you here today?
Huh? You two know each other?
Yeah.
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokuden.
Yeah.
Historically, there have always been deep links between the two clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects.
Oh, I see.
Yes, you may recall the story of the Raiden Gokuden from the Iridori festival.
Mm-hmm.
Though all bladesmiths trace their craft back to the same
Yeah, I
source,
think this probably
Over
the scene is
time,
probably different depending
each
on
of
whether
us
or
has
not you played the
arrived at a
Iridori
different
festival
blade-making
or
philosophy,
not.
spawning the development of different branches of the same art.
Whether it's just that line
an
or
example,
the explanation
the Amenoma
of
art strives to
the
emulate the
story
abiding patience
behind the Raiden
and
Gokuden.
determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out.
AKA
Until
Hajime
both
is
body
literally
and
just
mind have memorized
hammering
the
that
craft,
same sword
turning each
for all
motion
eternity.
of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Isshin art.
That's
correct.
right. Isshin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Isshin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Isshin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan.
Yeah,
But let's
Kazuha
get
just,
back on topic.
as he said in
The
his own
purpose of our
words, he
visit
just does
today
as
is
he
to gather some
pleases.
information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryou Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it. But I've done what I
Interesting.
can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryou Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse, and neither of them came back.
An item from a collector. And a fire?
Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it.
There was a
Unfortunately,
weird
there was
sword
very
that that
little
guy was
evidence left
wielding,
behind,
Aether.
so
That
nobody
might
knows
be a
what
good
really happened.
piece of information to
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya
point
may have
out right
wanted
now.
to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the
I
art
would
of the
assume
sword.
that the Amanoma
Truth be
art
told,
has a
we
similar
have some
blade
information
style
that you may
to
find to be
the
objectionable.
Kaedehara clan's
The
sword
person
art.
we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is
See, I
humble
believe
and
that
kind.
too.
Even his
But
training
then
is done
that's
with
is
the
where
goal of
the
calming
whole
his
fact
mind.
that the sword was purple and
never gotten into a
swirly
fight
comes
before.
in.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade
Well, this
without a
wouldn't be the
very good
first
reason.
time we saw somebody
But
get possessed
with
in
that said,
Inazuma.
it's equally
So
out of character for him to just disappear,
I wouldn't
with
put
neither
that idea
farewell
past.
nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced, or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Will
Don't
do.
worry. You have our word.
Sounds good.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
We still need to get the info from the Nagato family.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
Okay. I actually don't think it was Yuya. But if it was, then I don't think it was because he did it willingly.
go.
I think it would be because something happened with the sword. But I don't know if we have enough evidence to say it was him. As Kazuha has said, and Paimon has said, we gotta go visit the Nagato household first and get more evidence. Look at us being detectives. Hello, Nagato Sachiko.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now.
That's
My
fine.
husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to
We're
find him.
we're not here for that. So
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
no,
I'm afraid we don't have any
But
new information
we
at the
might
moment.
soon.
We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just
So
so
he's
he
a
could
hoarder,
pay for them.
is
Our
what you're saying.
expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance.
In a
I'm
trance,
happy
you
he has
say?
a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first.
In a trance,
I've
as
tried
if
talking
he's
to him
not
about it so
thinking,
many
as
times,
if
but
he's
he
not
never
being
listens.
himself.
On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Well, that seems
And
like
that led to an argument.
Actually,
the
it didn't.
situation
Generally,
might
he's
call
a quiet
for.
man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink.
Mm-hmm.
After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
You did the right thing. I think it's important to be able to protect yourself and your children when he's being unreasonable. So you did the right thing. It's important to set boundaries.
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Ame no Mayuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
Maybe.
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
We have to find
Please
him
don't get
first.
upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye.
Oh yeah, for
If
sure.
collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period.
That's what I'm
The
thinking
information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Mayuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument.
too. Something is
This
aggravating both of
situation
them,
is getting a
probably.
little confusing.
Something's
A
not
little
adding up.
confusing. More like completely
Things are not
mystifying.
adding up at all. And
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned.
let's
Rest
do
assured,
that.
we'll notify you if we find anything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Don't worry, we'll go look for him. It seems like a lot of things are happening, and where does
Based on the
Kazuha fit into
information
this
we've gathered
story?
So far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the
For
warehouse
sure.
likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery.
Now, if
Do
only
you
we
have
could
any
find
thoughts?
out what the item for sale was.
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and,
See, that would be the traditional
never mind.
answer, but
Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while.
it's
Oh,
probably more than that, because of course this is a very mysterious seeming case. If it was that simple, it might still be mysterious, but anyway, perhaps the fire was deliberately used to hide the truth.
An interesting explanation. I was also considering this possibility. Ame no Mayuya is an expert on swords. He could have noticed some problematic details about Mr. Nagato's collectibles. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after arguing about it, the two men agreed to hide the truth of this matter. They thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryou Commission began investigating and uncovered some incriminating details, so they fled to protect their secrets.
Look at us. We're the detective
It's a
crew
far-fetched
now.
theory. I can't imagine how they would have been able to reach an agreement.
Well, they both seem like agreeable
One fact
people.
that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict.
Yeah.
Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there?
And this also doesn't seem connected to the case of the attacker.
Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya
Not
lacks
directly.
a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Isshin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds
But
with one
the
stone
sword.
here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose
I think the
chase.
sword is possessing one of them and might have
Let's
connections
keep
to the
going,
Isshin art
since we've
and
come
is
this far. If we
giving
can solve
them
the case, both Mr.
that person
Amenoma
like some
and
techniques.
Mrs. Nagato will be
After
able
all,
to get some
didn't
closure.
Mr. Amenoma
Okay,
say that
But where
the
should we
blade
go
chooses
now?
the wielder?
Let's head out of the city and
What
check
if
out
that's
the
like
warehouse.
for the
There's
Isshin
still
art,
a
the blade
chance we
chooses the
may be
wielder?
able to find
What if
some
that's
shreds
actually
of
like more
evidence.
than figurative? Like, who the missed a name unveiled? What if that's actually like kind of literal in that the blade chooses a wielder and helps pass on some of the arts that were practiced with it in the past? And what if a Asian art blade was the collectible that was being sold in the transaction? And also, if that's the case, if the blade chooses the wielder, that would also
Wait.
explain the change in personality. Yeah?
I hear something ominous in the wind.
What is it?
Oh, this must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
I knew we could count on you.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
So where is this warehouse that you're talking about?
But there's nothing here.
Yeah, this could be like a whole
It's gone
kilometer
now,
away.
But I can still sense the direction
It's
it left
probably
in.
super far away.
It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami.
Oh, the Tatarigami. That's one thing I didn't expect to encounter here.
Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation.
Oh, that's another piece of
We
the
should remain
puzzle that
vigilant
might be
and
helpful.
approach slowly.
We know that Tatarigami can drive people to madness. So
So it's an underground warehouse.
it's underground.
The
That
force
makes
is
sense.
definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that
Yeah,
time.
it's like it was seeping into his body as he spent a lot of time there, and that's how he got like this change in personality and lost touch with the world. Surely someone would have noticed.
From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions.
Like the chief in
Mr.
Higi
Nagato
Village,
had an interest in collecting.
who
to
tried to
begin with.
sacrifice us.
The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step
And
back.
same with...
I'll open the door and take a look inside.
No, don't do that. Last time Albedo did that, bad things happened.
If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You
Okay.
needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
Kazuha, don't do this. No, literally when Albedo said he was gonna go into the cave, and bad things happen, and this is basically the same thing.
There.
Don't do it,
Everything's
Kazuha.
buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing.
That was too scary. Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us.
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them.
We cannot afford to delay any longer.
Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from. Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you, too, will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
Can we even do that? Follow the scent. Oh, this is what it's like to be Kazuha. Oh wow, if this is what it's like to be Kazuha, this place is really infected. Okay. I was gonna say, if Tatarigami, like, enhances people's obsessions, then that would also explain if Amenoma Yuya became more obsessed with sword arts and fighting, because that's his thing.
From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here and seems to be dissipating slowly.
2 parts, so that would correspond to Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya?
Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
Please don't say let's split up. Okay, good.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls. They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Enemy reinforcements coming.
Clouds high. The birds come!
Okay.
It's...
Look at this red stuff.
What is it?
What is it?
What is it?
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago.
What does it say?
Well, let's take a look.
Red dyed fabric. Oh no. Okay, I am Nagato. I was wounded by Amenoma Yuya. He took my most precious blade. I chased him but could not catch him. I lay down here to rest on account of my exhaustion. I thought I might croak right here. My stomach kept on bleeding. But it seems that some strange power has sustained me. Why did he steal that blade? I was going to sell it to him. He even burned my warehouse down. Ah, it hurts. It hurts. But for some reason, I can't fall unconscious, so all I can do to distract the pain is write. What will happen to Sachiko, Yuichi, and Yuji? I'm sorry to them. I really am. Only now do I realize how stuck in my ways I was and how blind to my obsession. I must have been cursed. I collected all those strange and bizarre things, but they won me not one iota of happiness or warmth. Put it all together, and it still wouldn't have been worth a single word from her mouth. Thank you, and sorry for letting you down, Sachiko. So So he was attacked by
According to this letter,
Amenoma
a
Yuya.
conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
Yeah, if he can't die,
He was
where
not
is
only
he?
mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its
Oh.
aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters,
Oh
and
no.
I'm afraid he may no longer be with us.
Oh,
Whatever
that's so
traces there may
sad.
have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here.
Let's ask the Tenryou Commission to do a thorough search later.
Yes. Right now, we need to uncover some more important truths.
Like how we're
If
standing in
Amenoma
the
Yuya
cloud of
is attacking
Tatarigami
other people
energy.
indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk.
Yeah, what if
meeting the
nobody
same
else
tragic
has
end.
reported attacks because they're all
So
dead?
let's get moving.
How did it come to this? It's not in his nature.
I wouldn't be surprised if he too fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami.
Yeah.
For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill.
That's what I was
All the
thinking
clues
too.
that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. It seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
I think there's a lot of danger around us. So. Oh, look, the wind currents again. Just like during the Crux clash, and the winds appeared when Kazuha sensed that the vision was missing. You can see all the dark energy there. So I know that we can't actually see it, and it's just like showing this is how Kazuha senses it. But doesn't that mean we're still standing really close to this energy that could be very lethal to us? Or make us do weird things?
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special
But
about
maybe
this
it
place?
affects us differently because
I'm not
Kazuha has a
sure.
vision and we have elemental
But on
powers.
closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time.
Several.
Show
Yeah.
yourself. It's no use hiding anymore.
Kazuha can sense you anywhere.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Look at the purple glowy sword.
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
This is exactly what I've been saying. Hello, Raiden Shogun. The whole thing about the Isshin art blade chooses its wielder.
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light.
Yeah.
Whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Yeah, we are serious.
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Amenoma Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Isshin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith
But we know
of
that's
great
not the
renown,
whole
a
truth.
master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So, swords can become conscious and control people?
That's how well it was
The
made.
people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Isshin art.
Oh, well,
So Amenoma Yuya was not
I
your
mean-
first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you
yeah, that's a
finish
good
using
question.
them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me
Well, as long as they
back
didn't
to
die.
Inazuma.
You're awful.
And they can still restart
After I
their
returned
lives
to
after this,
Inazuma,
I
decided
guess.
to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma
Except it
Yuya
does sound like
handed
some of
himself
your
over to
victims
me on
have
a
died
silver
or
platter.
had their entire lives
At
ruined,
long
so maybe that's
last,
not such a good
I'm
thing.
approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi.
Well,
There can
that
be
might
no
not
other to
be
serve as my host for what
good
is to
idea.
come. Now, give your body over to me.
No way. We're not gonna hand Kazuha over to you. Absolutely, I'm gonna have to... Wait, is this a trial version of Kazuha? Because this is stronger than my Kazuha, I think.
Join me and sever that divine life.
It is, because they have a different sword. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do this only with Kazuha. Stop.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Amenoma Yuya, re-emergent attacker.
History.
Wind strike! That hurts!
Oh, that hurt. Okay, well, let's just keep going. We're almost there. No.
As one with wind and cloud!
Oh, that worked.
Not
Yay.
stand in my way, or I will strike you down too.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Yeah.
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more.
Well, we could just bury you
Even if
underground and you
defeat
can't
me
talk to
here,
people anymore.
The one who falls will not be me,
So-
but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will.
Well then, we'll just smash you into pieces.
The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger.
Yeah?
And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Well, why does
Your
that have to be
fighting
your
style.
destiny?
It is indeed the forms
Why
of
does your
Isshin
destiny
art.
have to be facing
But
the
from
Raiden
your
Shogun?
movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Isshin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you?
Well,
On his
that's
deathbed, he
kinda.
passed to me all of Isshin art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Good point.
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed
What if
a
the
cursed
blade is
blade
also
that can
possessed by
possess its owner?
Tatarigami?
Now that I've seen
Well,
inside
we actually
your
know
mind,
that.
everything finally makes sense.
But
You
the
are
blade's
biding
own
your time.
ambitions are being affected by the
You were
Tatarigami,
trapped.
since it has its own consciousness.
After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
That's right!
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward,
Kazuha
the greater your
understands
fear of
what
losing
this sword has been
everything you
going
had
through.
achieved grew, and the
In
more
that
you
regard,
wished to run from
they
the
would make a
truth.
good team.
But the way I see
Not
it,
for
what began as an ambition has
fighting the
long
Raiden
since become a
Shogun,
delusional
but
fantasy.
What would you know
just
about
understanding
any of
each
this?
other.
I'm just one step away from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Isshin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life. Even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Isshin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Isshin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve
Yeah,
my
you cannot
goal.
silence Kazuha.
This was
He's really
his
good at
life's
talking
dream,
and
and
really
the
good
very
at
purpose for which I was
using
brought
his
into
words.
being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedehara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a
I mean,
second
in the
that you can
swords
challenge the
like,
almighty
defense,
Shogun in your
he
current
can't
state.
speak to humans without
So
possessing a
let us
human
make a
body,
bet.
so...
And I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
He's
Very
not
well.
agreeing to the demands.
Then find yourself some enemies
We
with
saw
whom you
this
wish to cross
before.
blades. A
Kazuha's
taste
actually
of
pretty
my
good at
power will
bluffing
more
to
than
actually
convince
have
you.
the other person work
Once
towards
we
his
have
own
dealt with
demands.
them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
You're dealing with a cursed blade that can possess people. This is risky.
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the blade's puppet. The cursed blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely
Also,
devoid
anyone
of
can
honor.
survive. It
The
would
power
be
of the
Kazuha.
Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up
Well,
some
maybe you
resistance
don't
for
have
a
any
while.
obsessions now, but what if you start developing them holding the sword?
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me.
Oh, well,
We have a chance
thanks.
here to save an innocent
I'm flattered
victim.
you have so much
I am
faith
willing to
in
accept
our
the
ability to
risks
rescue
entailed.
you, but, it's not like I can stop you.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too.
Okay.
Now, take me in your hand.
Okay, now we're gonna see if Kazuha stays this same old
I'm
self.
okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected.
Well, if something feels off, let me know immediately so we can, like, hit you on the head or something to get you to snap out of it.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
Well, we gotta
Find some
go
enemies.
fight some people. Yeah.
Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Isshin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute. Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
Since the Takatsukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin
Oh,
ever since.
that should fit the bill perfectly.
Ah, all right. Please lead the way.
What about Amenoma Yuya? What should we do?
Just let him sit on the beach
The
here.
blade says
Somebody will...
he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail
Oh,
us
okay.
silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in
We
any
can just let him
immediate
sit
danger.
on the beach here. It seems pretty safe.
Sure, this is a good idea. It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
Don't worry. Kazuha is the most careful person ever. Ere the end, I glanced back. I always thought it was so crazy how they managed to put the secret base so close to the Kamisato estate. This should not be possible. Okay. Let's see. You still have your sacrificial sword. Okay. That's... Yay, that helps. This is super helpful. I can just be like... flying through the wind. Alright, let's see. Oh, we're making good use of the secret base again, that's for sure. Occupied hold. Alright. Let's see. Okay, so it really is just Kazuha and the sword. Let's see. You only have 220 elemental mastery? Ooh, prized Isshin blade. When normal, charge a punch attack its opponents with a cursed spirit, dealing AoE damage equal to 180% of attack and restoring 100% of attacker's HP. An ominous purple aura clings to this bizarre blade. It has the power to control its wielder's heart and mind. Yeah, elemental burst damage. Okay.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Sure? I mean, I guess I don't have a choice. You're the only one I can use on this fight. But is it you or the blade who's talking? It's okay. As long as we're teaching the blade about what it means to have harmony between wielder and blade, then everything will be fine. Because Kazuha, you know, he's a really understanding person and he's been on so many journeys. So he's the kind of person who actually has some wisdom to teach this blade that's hundreds of years old about what it means to face reality and live in the real world.
How are you feeling? You okay?
Yeah, you
I'm
okay?
all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance,
I love how
it's become
Yuya is
very
just
difficult to
following
use.
us, like,
Though
half
he's making
asleep.
every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, he is instead trying to match my fighting rhythm.
That's good. That's progress.
Let's keep going.
That means it's learning. It's learning what it means to work with human and blade working together to become the ultimate fighting duo instead of just controlling people for his own ambitions, which are probably affected by the Kataragami as well.
Time to go. Wind strike.
This is good. There's fire in this room, which is going to make these swirl reactions even better.
Let's get down to business. Falling leaves. Adorn my night. Wind strike.
Okay, how's it going now?
Whoa, something's up with the blade.
It's grown dimmer?
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break apart at any moment.
But what would that do to Amanome Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily.
Okay.
He's still trying to achieve his goal.
But what really does this goal mean in the grand scheme of things? Is becoming the strongest the only thing that matters? Or is there still more to life than that? So this might be kind of hard because these guys have a lot of health.
Wind strike.
Okay, I'm really glad they put all these torches everywhere, but if these torches keep going out, that might be problematic. Actually, no, these ones can't go out, so I think we're good.
Clouds high. The birds call. Wind strike.
Alright, that was the only one.
Okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes,
That has nothing to do with the
And it
blade.
looks
It
like
just
he's
has
reached
everything
his
to do
limit.
with the fact that
The shine's grown a bit
Yeah.
dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere near
But
as
it's hard to
impressive
beat.
as it did at the start.
One of those guys.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about? Huh? What the? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
Well, did you just call it a piece of junk to its face? The wear and tear is severe, I will
If
say
you
that.
choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun.
Yeah, that's right. That's what reality has to
Maybe
say.
you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy.
But will he listen to you even though the truth is right there in front of him?
I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power.
And that was also
But
your
regrettably,
original
we are nothing
purpose.
alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
It's
Here they are.
poetic.
Take them down.
Oh no.
Where do they keep coming from?
You guys shouldn't fight with the blade anymore.
Yup. We can help this time.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
That's right, he's gonna use his own blade. Oh wait, I thought they were gonna let me use the rest of my team, but I guess not. It's okay.
Time
Just
to go.
make good use of the
Wind
swirl.
strike.
Swirl! I love his plunging attack, the Midare Ranzan.
Wind strike.
It's so satisfying where all like the swirl.
As one with wind and
Swirl and
cloud.
swirl.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Isshin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer
Which
sheen.
must have been that purple glowy aura we
Yours
saw.
is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't want to say that to be like rude, but
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything.
I didn't
This
want to
blade
interrupt
has
this whole
traveled
thing
the
with the
land
blade,
with
but I was
me
like,
for many
that's
years,
just an ordinary
and we
fillet
have
blade,
formed
isn't
a
it?
close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Isshin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight
Well,
it.
how can the sword fight it
feel a
if
great
it's an
sense of
integral
regret
part
for
of its
you.
consciousness?
Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
This
I
is
believe
so
our
sad.
bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now
Yeah, where are
has
you
neither
going?
the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
Okay, that's fair. Hello. I can't take a picture here without the text box, but... Oh my gosh. Glee and Kazuha. Jumpy Dumpty really is jumpy, isn't he? Alright.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. The bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight.
Oh,
His
like an
breaths
old
were
memory.
weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Isshin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent
And
the
who's
rest
to
of his
blame for
life in the
that?
forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth.
Well, that's
So he
good, because
instructed
we've
this sentient
achieved
blade to
that.
find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
what I
he
got
never
the
wished to
sense
rival
of.
the gods. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith. That they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade of today.
See, because the
Right.
blade's consciousness is entirely made
I
of
believe the
Tatarigami.
bladesmith might
It was
never
really
have known that the
susceptible
power he
to
worked with was that of the
that
Tatarigami.
enhanced obsession that it
The
gets.
hatred within
its
that power
ambitions.
is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
Shame it's too late now.
Yes, it is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
Okay. What do you have to say for yourself? What have you reflected on in your journey?
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my forging like it was just yesterday. I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Yeah.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has
Yeah,
to be
you are
done in
pushing
this
it,
order.
but-
At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I
will
will
hear
still
you out.
release Amenoma Yuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
I think
Let's
so.
hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
I see.
And who would be the opponent?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you.
Okay.
He must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he
I
has
mean,
the
it would actually be
stamina and
easier
will
to
fight.
just ask us to duel Kazuha. But just like in that one 30-second animation
He used my
with
body
Kazuha and Aether
to
dueling in the
inflict harm on
forest.
others. I utterly despise
yeah,
him
sure,
and
this
his
works too.
actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself
Wow, you're
forward.
taking this remarkably
I do not
well,
wish to be a
considering you were
mere
just
victim
told
in
that
this
you've been
story.
knocked out and possessed by a sword and
no
wandering
need to
around
worry.
hurting people.
We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryo Commission.
Sure,
Thanks for your help.
I'm sure that will go over
Who
well.
knows how
but
this would have
yeah,
ended without your intervention.
you're
All right,
welcome.
then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
Chest. More and more. Look how little more I have. Oh, I actually have more and more now. I guess since starting this quest and maybe doing my dailies. I only had 1,000 more left after pulling for Kazuha and Klee and leveling up the talents and leveling them up and leveling up artifacts. Fulfill the blade's final wish. We should have gone to the place with the fleeing swordsmiths. Actually, wait. But that actually wasn't the place with the fleeing swordsmiths, right? That was just where Scaramouche was going. And in fact, that side is where Scaramouche was. He might have actually been leading them astray from the actual fleeing swordsmiths going this way. We don't know. That's totally possible.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash.
Yeah, that was a much more relaxed occasion.
Yep, we still can't let our guard down, even now. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything.
Yeah.
Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him. Are
I
you
mean,
ready?
by that same logic, the Raiden Shogun is also
Ready?
past the point of redemption.
All right then.
Alright, here we go.
Successor of Isshin art, Kaedehara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is
Yay.
my honor also.
Sunset Duel. You know, this is not like the Crux Clash, though. Crux Clash had no visions allowed.
Wind Strider.
Which I'm pretty sure is like the sole reason we didn't get to fight Kazuha during the Crux Clash.
It's fine.
It's fine. Crap. Whoa.
Clouds high. The birds call. That hurts.
Hey, hang on. Can I see what the blade looks like now? It's still the it's still the same blade, but it looks different. It has the same effects and stuff, though. Interesting.
Wind Strider. Time to go. It's fine.
Yay!
Thank you for the experience.
You're welcome.
Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance.
I
His
guess
sense
since
of
he's also from a
savage
swordsmithing
cruelty has
clan,
completely
the idea
faded
that the
away.
sword could have a consciousness
But that
is
same
not
sense
as
of determination remains strong.
bizarre to him as it might
You
be
also
for other
fought well.
people. But like,
I'm sure he
I still think
relished the
he's taking this
experience.
remarkably well.
There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
Wait,
You need not seek my
the blade can
forgiveness,
talk on its own?
nor do I have the
So it
right
doesn't
to
even need
forgive
to
you on
possess a
your
person to
victim's
talk?
behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone and not let them stain the legacy of Isshin art.
Oh no, it's talking through
I
Kazuha.
strayed
Okay,
far
that
from
makes
the
sense. I was
straight
like,
and narrow
is
path,
the
but
sword just talking
Isshin
on its
art
own? But
still
no, it
has
still needs a
worthy
human body
successor
to
in
speak through.
Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
So pretty
Yes.
being in Inazuma at
I
sunset.
too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
Maybe to get
I'm
some
not sure.
repairs?
But I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Also, we're gonna need to tell Mrs. Nagato
Time to go.
about her husband. That was an unfortunate case, but we will have to do what must be done. Ah, look at us.
Wind Strider.
A year ago, we were criminals under the Vision Hunt Decree, and Kazuha was a criminal under the Vision Hunt Decree. And now look at us just chilling in Inazuma City now.
It's Yuya! You have returned!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able to return safely.
Yeah, the other guy wasn't so lucky, so... Yeah.
A prized Isshin blade, turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency tells me that they've found the missing Mr. Nagato.
Oh, is he still around?
Is he okay?
Yes, badly wounded, but he will live.
Oh, good.
And now that
Thank
Yuya
goodness.
is back, it seems like the final ending to this story is a happy
Thank goodness
one
he's
after all.
alive and
I think I know
is
what you want
willing
to
to
do.
turn his life around.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body for anything nefarious. I have decided to let him do it.
But he... Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
I trust your judgment. I think
Thank
it's gonna
you.
be fine.
I will explain my reasons later. Okay,
I think
I'm
I have
ready.
a hunch of what's gonna happen.
let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
Stay true to the promise, or else bad things are gonna happen.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes, the cost is my entire consciousness.
He's using his animal power to help with
You
the
were right.
forging.
There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Isshin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Isshin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Isshin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Isshin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order.
I
His
see.
consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube
Aw.
Isshin. It was the first time I ever heard his name. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments.
Maybe it felt like it was
before his
staining. It
consciousness
definitely
faded,
did
was
feel
he
like it was
willing to
staining the
entrust it to
Isshin
another?
art name.
Seems like he really, really wanted to fulfill
But in
his
the end,
maker's wish.
Understood what
The
needed to
same
be done.
fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them.
Too dangerous if you ask me. The remnants of defeated gods are nothing to scoff
I
at.
understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh,
Maybe just a little
Kazuha?
bit. But
I will continue to support you from
as you
this
said
point
before,
on.
it
Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
is just the way that you are. You roam the world and just and take in everything. And maybe when you are like that, then you just can't help but have those kinds of ambitions that seem to reach the clouds and the stars. Never stop dreaming. Thank you, Kazuha.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Shoujo Kamaji?
Oh yeah, that's right. Were we supposed to
right.
like?
We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation.
We also need to tell him
And it's
whether you
also
accepted
time
his
to give him
offer
a
or not.
response to the offer he made me.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that seems so long ago now. It's like a lifetime ago. Oh, was Kamaji at the Raiden Shogun statue again? As always. What is it with this statue? Hello.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation indeed, we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanome Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Yeah, we didn't
Then
even
we
need to
needn't recount
prove our
all the
his
details
innocence
again.
yet then.
Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please, take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Isshin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Isshin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
I knew
The
Kazuha
Kaedehara
wouldn't
clan
be able
has
to
always been a family
accept
of
that
bladesmiths,
offer.
so it is only proper for me to
Because
continue on
he
this
can't
path.
stay still
Were
in
I
one
to
place.
accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled
constantly
in
drifting
conflicts
about
between
to
the
different
shogunate and
places, 'cause-
Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand.
He's
That was
always
most certainly not
exploring.
our intent.
It's not your intent, but it's what would
I
end up
am aware,
happening. He would have
but
to
I
get
still
involved in all
desire
these
to
like
continue
politics and
walking my
stuff.
own path.
Whereas
Very well.
Kazuha's a free
I can
spirit.
understand.
He just
Then let's pretend this offer was
needs
never
to be
raised.
able to
However,
have that
if you should ever
freedom.
change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Yeah,
Where
thanks,
will you travel
Kamaji.
to next, Kazuha?
Yeah, where are you gonna go next?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now.
Makes
As
sense.
for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Wind. A strange and friendless road. Whoa. Kagotsurube Isshin. This famed blade was born in a nation to the far north. But in the name of Isshin, it was stained with a dark deed on its homebound journey. Interesting. So it's a blade that has ties to Snezhnaya, but ultimately was a weapon that was gifted a soul. Oh, look at that. It has like an ore. And forged by the master of the Isshin art. And now, even though its consciousness is dissipated, I think it has finally found its purpose. After years and years of it wandering and looking for a goal, I think it has finally understood the true meaning of its goal, and now will accompany Kazuha on Kazuha's journeys across all of Tibet. And similarly, I think it's pretty clear that Kazuha understands, is really good at trying to understand other people. It's very empathetic, and that kind of ties in with his ability to sense everything that's going on around him, both literally and figuratively. And now it seems like he'll have another friend for his journey, even though the blade's consciousness is no more. It will always be around with him for his journey. I'm sorry, I'm looking for something to fight, so I'm just walking all the way over here. There are people over here, right? Yes, there are. Oh, it's even that's the blade at level 1. I guess my Kazuha is really strong, but still. You see the cool purple effect? Oh my gosh, you see the cool effects the sword has? Like, not just only like it has like when you wave it, it has like the aura around it, but also when Kazuha's casting his skill too. Oh, that's really cool. Let's see what else. This is a really cool looking design too. I love it. So I also, in addition to pre-farming for Kazuha and Klee, I maybe also pre-farmed for this sword as well. So yeah, let's see what it looks like when it gets ascended. Good thing I have lots of these crystals. You know what? The fact that the blade's consciousness is no longer around. Oh, look at that. It has kind of like this gold finish around it now. I don't know, might not be the worst thing considering the fact that it might have otherwise been very talkative on the journey. No, but nah, I don't want to. Oh, but now I feel it's like it's the same thing, kind of like with Zhongli's story quest. I don't even have enough more to upgrade it more. Where it's like I didn't used to think about like the rocks and stuff, but now I think about the rocks and how the rocks all have consciousness. And same with like Requiem of the Echoing Depths. And it's like, oh my gosh, all the Hilichurls are like sad because of what happened in Conria, and now this, it's like. Well, now the sword has consciousness and it has feelings, and now even though it's not around, I feel bad for thinking that, well, the fact that a sword has feelings might complicate things. I think to myself, no wait, I feel bad about that now. Like I said, it's a very strong blade. Hang on, this is actually really good. Okay, hang on, do I have enough to ascend it now? This might be a project for. This might take a while if I'm really lacking on more by that much.
Time to go.
But you know what? This is the spot where Kazuha, standing in the water during the Iridori festival, and he's like, "This is where the Kamisato clan and the Kaedehara clan tracked down the perpetrator." So. I think this is a good spot to end off this video.
Time to go.
I had a lot of fun with that, It was great to finally have a Kazuha story quest, and we really get to explore both his story and the story of that blade and how his journeys have given him all this basically wisdom and allowed him to show his empathy for Sword's own journeys. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have fun over the next few weeks or months or forever using Kazuha and this sword on my journeys. So yeah, as the sun rises over Mount Yogo, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. I think the next one will be the Summer Fantasia, Summertime Adventure. And we're going to be going back to the Golden Apple Archipelago, and we're going to be meeting a lot of our friends, including Kazuha and Mona and Shinyan
Wherever
and
in this world
Bishel. That's going to be
I
great.
carry memories of my home.
Well,
This blade. It is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
finally that, you know what? This blade is the last link that I have to the land of my birth, actually. Is even more sentimentally significant now. Alright. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Bye.